there's two sides of it. There's parents that don't really engage in it at all, and these kids could be missing an opportunity if they just had somebody focus on them a little bit more on that, what talent they have and what they could do with it. Because besides playing professional golf, it's a great asset to have, being able to play good golf, and to it's made me the person I am today. So I have a lot for golf. It's everything to me, and it's made me the person I am. And you could look at the other side of things where parents get a little too involved and getting very technical, maybe taking videos, getting really hard on a 15-year-old, 16-year-old kid for not playing well or doing this or that, and that drags people away from the sport.
Welcome back to Journey to June. I'm your host, Wendy Basilica, or welcome to. I'm all on a mission to help people connect to who they're born to be and go after the thing they love so they make a lasting imprint for future generations. And whether I'm coaching or doing my retreat or we're doing this podcast, actually interviewing people that walk the walk or people that are going after their dream and early on in the process. And today we have Tyler Gerbavsits, who is an amazing young 24-year-old golfer who I've watched since day one of him picking up a golf club, maybe younger than 5. And I've watched him grow and get onto his college team at St. John's. He's won the New York Am, but great 3-year captain at St. John's, and now he is graduated with his master's and going after his dream to play on tour, to go to the Masters, and tune in and listen to what he has to say and his journey of the transition from golf, from college to going pro. He's an awesome young man that has huge passion for golf. Listen in. So welcome to Journey to June.
I'm
Tyler.
Very excited.
Tyler,
Happy to be
he's
here.
one of the ones I've been wanting. Once, like a year, I've been wanting to get you in here. Tyler is, and we'll introduce him in a little bit, but we'll learn more about you. But he is family member of ours that we've known since baby times, and to watch you grow and explore. I've had Josie on here, and I've had not my mom, but older, 80-year-olds, and I just like catching you in where you are right now and jumping from college to your passion of your dream is kind of, I don't get this. I get more people that already made it, or like a Josie.
Got it.
So I'm happy to have you. Tell the listeners where you are right now.
Yep.
What are you up to?
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm just getting my feet wet this year. Playing professional golf is the route we're going. Just graduated from St. John's, and this is my first year down in Florida, giving it a shot. It's kind of just, this year is really just getting the feet wet, getting familiar with a whole different lifestyle. The last 5 years I've been doing school and playing on a team, playing golf in school on a team, and it's completely different. It's a very lonely lifestyle down here. Just really getting the feet wet. It's playing in a bunch of tournaments, getting comfortable, playing under this different pressure. Playing for money is definitely a little different, but starting to realize that it's just another round on the golf course, and it's been going really well. A lot of mostly positives. I'd say pretty much all positive outlooks in everything I've played in. Kind of just picking little pieces from every tournament, every experience that I've had down here, and just kind of building on it. And it's been great.
I just, when we were talking yesterday on the phone to get you in here, he was on a qualifier, and you were talking like the balance of like
Yes.
you're working to create you've got to make some income to
Exactly.
pay for some of the stuff, and you're fresh
True. So
in
I'll
this.
go into that as
Yeah,
well.
like
So since I got down here, I moved down here in late October, and I took a caddy job at MacArthur Golf Club. And for the first 3 or 4 months, it was around 4 to 5 loops a week, which was, it's about 4 hours of my day, 5 hours of my day. So the remainder of those days, I'm just going to practice and kind of trying to balance my time. So really working down here, caddying, has given me some money to support myself and to invest in myself, which has been, great. I believe in myself. So I'm
love it.
helping myself out a little bit.
Yeah,
And
it's hard. Going back to like just this conversation right at the start. I'm
yeah,
like, oh my god, I remember at 29. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna go after golf, and
hmm
I didn't play college golf, and the I mean, I was going cold turkey, but going into it, there's such a learning curve.
hmm
And I think just listening to you right now, I don't know if everybody approaches it this way, but just this is what I've heard you say. And
yeah,
just now you said it
100%.
like just really taking this year to learn what it feels like to
Without a
live this
doubt.
lifestyle.
Yes.
What do you think the hardest part is this year of going from college
Yep.
to where you are right now?
It's very different. I was a captain um, of the St. John's golf team for 4 years with my co-captain.
4 years, like you're
4 year, 3 years. Sorry, 3 years.
3 years.
3 years captain with
I didn't
my
know that.
other captain, Jack Simon. And it was a lot. I was kind of taking care of me and him were taking care of everyone, trying to improve the program as much as we could. And I think we did a pretty good job with that. And just making sure everybody was happy, even with school, everything, like anything, any drama, anything. Me and him were kind of taking that apart for ourselves. So it was just extremely busy on the side of making, like, almost managing like a
Humans.
team. Yeah, humans,
Yeah.
kind of, in a sense. So it was difficult between school, golf, and that. Now I've just finished grad school before I got down here, and I don't have school anymore, so it's a little easier. I don't have to manage anyone but myself, which is definitely, it's a lot different. I'm one person to really want to take care of others, help people out, but now it's kind of like, take care of yourself for once, and it's a lot different. I'm very hard on myself with golf and everything, so I try and keep it as positive as possible, but it's been great. I mean, just living the dream. This is what I've wanted to do since I was, gosh, 15 years old.
Okay, so let's go there.
Yeah.
Let's go there because I have this. When I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna interview Tyler, all
Yep.
I think about is a moment at Hope Sound Country
Yep.
Club when I don't think you were 15. I think you were younger,
Yep.
and we were playing and with your mom and dad, and maybe just your mom, but you either threw your club or you had a moment.
Yep.
And this is early. I don't even
Yeah.
know if you really like knew what you wanted. It was just
Yeah.
like what Josie's
Mhm.
age is or something.
Mhm.
And I know your mom like really helped in that. Like think of like
Yes.
draw us back to like your childhood, like what introduced you to golf. I know your
100%.
grandfather, like
Yes.
Uncle Charlie, is a huge sport person.
Yep.
They play golf socially, but
Yep.
different. So
Mhm.
like how did you get introduced to it and where was it like that
Mhm.
moment?
It really goes as far back as at my home club at Huntington Crescent Club. It comes back to golf camp when I was, 6, 7 years old. Playing competitions and stuff, little mini competitions against, my fellow friends and stuff in little golf camp. That's kind of where it all started, and just wanting to beat other people and be the best out there, and just the competition, the pressure, things like that. Like, it just always grew on me. Um, Moving forward, I really started playing in, tournaments, tested those waters out, and probably when I was about 12, 13. And
So hold on, I'm going to
Mhm.
interrupt if you don't mind.
Yeah.
When you think of that time, like
Yeah.
6-year-old, I know
Yeah.
we've all worked with Connie,
Yes.
who's an amazing human
The
and
best.
LPGA teacher.
Yep.
And so you had that experience at 6 years old, then started playing tournaments like 11, 12.
Yes.
When you think of the people around you doing it,
Mm-hmm.
because this is
Yeah.
like this to me, like when I was playing at the
Mhm.
age of 30 with
Mhm.
college and high school kids, what did you see? Like, as in how people showed up, or the passion around golf compared to you?
Compared to me,
Yeah.
just other people like when I was at that age.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
What
I
made you
grew up.
different? I guess that's what I'm
Yeah, I
asking.
mean, I grew up with a lot of people that played golf as well, so it was pretty easy for me to get into the sport as well. Like just going to play, I had a bunch of buddies that we would go play. But when I would starting in a tournament, I don't know, it's just like my excitement.
Mm.
Kind of I was definitely more of an up and down player when back in the day. Like I'd get
Like
really
I
mad at
said, he had a
really,
little anger in
really,
him.
really mad at myself. But then also like if I made a birdie or whatever, I'd get pretty excited, and I kind of would just feed off that confidence after that. And some days it would work, some days it wouldn't. But I've learned a lot from now that you want to
When
stay
do you?
pretty even
Yeah.
keel.
When did it switch? Because
It
you
took
have that
me
emotion.
it took me longer than I wish. I mean, everyone's different, I feel like. I think personality has a lot to do with it, but moving towards my later years in high school into my first really, I'd say that switch from senior year of high school to freshman year of college was really where things started to change a little bit. I was learning that kind of side of the game a little bit more.
Like the mindset,
The
the
mindset,
personality,
yes, the
like
mindset, the personality, trying to stay a little bit more even keel out there throughout the round. But obviously, there was frustration throughout college where there were moments where I was getting pretty mad at myself out there and trying to, you know, improve that over the years. And that's a really, really important part of the game. And now it's gotten way better. And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just kind of all the, yeah,
I know your mom helped in that as well. 'Cause she's,
100%.
probably your dad too.
Mom and dad.
When you think of, like, I'm just thinking if anybody's a listener who's a parent that has a kid that loves the game,
Hmm.
um, or you're actually playing yourself and listening,
Yep.
what is it like if you think back to your high school years and going into like applying to schools, getting recruited?
Hmm.
Let's get into that because I
Yeah.
think I feel like you had a moment of frustration at some of it. So
It's
talk to me about your experience
it's
in that.
really interesting. That whole part of it, it's an individual sport when you're playing as a kid moving through high school and everything. There's no teams. You have high school golf, but it's nothing compared to you have to play in a lot of tournaments to get seen by these college coaches and everything. And, growing up, I didn't play in many AJGAs, which is like a big tour that coaches look at. Um, it's not. It's really hard to get in tournaments with that. You need a pretty high status. There you got to travel a lot. I didn't really have that opportunity as much. It was very difficult to get into those tournaments. Even though I could play with anyone there, they were very tight and not very
You had to
open.
qualify or you actually were
Some
asked?
No, so you kind of need to be asked, or you have to have a certain status or have certain stars, I think they would use it as, to get into a tournament, and it was virtually impossible for me. I couldn't really play in any of them. I played in one qualifier thing where I could have gained like 4 stars, I think it is, but it's really tough. Like that's a really hard tour. Like they didn't really help me much, but other tours like Met
Yeah.
PGA, Hurricane Golf Tour. There's a bunch, and 2-day events are really important to get recruited. They want to see 2-day events instead of one day because there's just a little bit more golf
Did
being
you
played.
know that at the time you were?
I did. After when I was 14, I was really only playing in one-day events, and once I got like comfortable over a year, I started playing in those two-a-day events, and a couple good scores. I started getting looks at colleges, kind of emailing as many colleges as I possibly could in Division One, and only a couple came back, but it was.
So you had to reach out
I
to
had to
them
reach out to them, yes,
because you weren't seen
I
at
wasn't
the.
seen at the level that I knew I could play, just because I wasn't getting in those tournaments, which it definitely helps a lot. It's a lot. It's a really tough. It's a tough situation with what they have going with all these tours or whatever. I know AJGA is great and they have countless tournaments, but I was never really invited or in any of those
So
tournaments.
you created.
It was impossible.
You really had to create the awareness.
Yes.
In the
So
college arena.
it was a lot of reaching out to coaches, emailing. I made a video when I was, a sophomore in high school on my accomplishments in high school, in certain tournaments, videos of my swing that I posted on YouTube. And I sent that out to those coaches as well, just for them to see it. And
would you, thinking back, would you have done anything more than what you did, or you think you didn't?
I
Did what you had
I think
to
I
get in?
did what I had to do, and I got to thank my mom for all that too, because she really helped me through. Like, you'd really need parents to help you through it. I mean, I was 16 years old. I don't really know how to contact people that well and to do all that. So she
So what did you
killed it
love?
for me.
Like, so obviously she helped you
Yeah.
plan who you were going to reach out to and all that
Mhm.
stuff. But like, what did you love about how your parents parent you in that moment? Because I think parenting in
There's
any sport
without a doubt
is
it
really interesting to watch these
100%.
days.
It can go, there's two whole sides to it,
Because
but
I'm sure you've seen it
I've
playing
seen,
around.
without a doubt. And they've been the best. I mean, they're my biggest fans. They believe in me as much as I believe in myself. And, for them to, they see the passion that I have for it. And, they want to help me as much as possible. So that could be from, an early age. I have to thank them too. I had the opportunity to practice at a really nice place my whole entire life. I had my mom setting up tournaments. I had my dad, trying to help me out mentally, and same with my mom as well, like trying to, learn the game a little bit more, be more disciplined, things like that. It's really special, and it's something I don't.
Yeah, you are fortunate.
I'm very fortunate, and I should be more fortunate, to them.
Yeah, it
But
is an interesting. When
it's-
you think of like other, what are like red flags when you see or
Yeah,
think
I
back of
think-
your like
I think
college?
if you
high school.
look at it, there's two sides of it. There's parents that don't really engage in it at all, and
Yeah.
these kids could be missing an opportunity if they just had somebody focus on them a little bit more on that, what talent they have and what they could do with it.
Yeah.
Because besides playing professional golf, I'm it's a great asset to have, being able to play good golf, and to it's made me the person I am today.
Yeah.
So I have a lot for golf. It's everything to me, and it's made me the person I am. And you could look at the other side of things where parents get a little too involved and getting very technical, maybe taking videos, getting really hard on a 15-year-old, 16-year-old kid for not playing well or doing
Yeah.
this or that, and that drags people away from the sport. So
I just
you
heard a
get
stat.
frustrated at a certain point. You have somebody who's that talented, they have a bad round, and they're just, your parents are maybe a little too hard on you. At a certain point, you're probably, a bomb's going to go off and you're not going to want to play. So there's a real balance there, and I would say
I just heard a stat, and it's not golf; it's just
Mhm.
sport in general. Over, I think it's 76% of kids at the age of 13 quit.
Yeah.
And it's just like a big eye opener in general
Mhm.
of anything you have a passion for.
Yeah.
That parents almost are like reliving their own
Without a doubt.
wish of
100%.
what they have maybe did or something like that. And I even think of that as I raise my daughter. Like, she's
Without a
very
doubt.
passionate in theater. It's like the balance of helping them
But also,
embrace their passion
yes.
and have some discipline and work hard,
Yeah.
but yet
You need
don't
them,
know this is a
exactly. You
balance.
want
And
them,
obviously
they need to experience for themselves and stuff. And I think that there's a balance there, and if you could find that balance, I think it's super important for someone striving in anything, golf, theater, anything.
So when you think of going from high school to college, and you went right to St. John's, correct?
Yes.
I feel like, am I correct? Did you have two different coaches?
I had three different coaches.
Okay.
I
always think coaches can really make a difference.
Without a doubt. I had my first coach for 2.5 years, and then he left, and we had an interim coach for that last 3.5 years, first coach. That extra half a year was an interim coach, and then I had a whole new coach for my last final year. And
so that's actually pretty cool, because maybe it wasn't cool during your whole experience, but I think it's interesting for you to share to the listeners when you think, not naming the names of who is the better coach or whatever, but like when you think of who makes, like what makes an amazing coach, especially in golf, it's a tricky thing, because you have your swing, and then you have the mindset, and you have a team.
And I went through 5 years of college golf. I walked with, probably over 100 different schools, different people from different schools. And I've heard everything from my coaches the best to my coaches the worst. And, I think it fully comes down to if made the biggest thing to me, and I noticed it, I won't say who or whatever, but one of my coaches he would have taken a bullet for any kid on the team. He cared so much about us being happy and us having the best experience that we possibly could. And I think that goes an extremely long way for the chemistry between the team, between the coach and the players. And some are going to work harder than others, and some are just going to kind of lay back and see this job as, I'm kind of just got to go to the course and help them out and do this, little that. But like, if you get the right guy in there that has a good head on his shoulders and wants to work hard and virtually just make everyone happy on the team, there's no way that it won't happen.
It's more, you're talking like this guy, whoever it is, a good coach creates an amazing culture to make you feel
100%.
seen.
And a coach in college golf is different than any other sport, where you have a coach that he's not really giving you lessons or anything. He's not helping you perform better that much. We all have our own coaches that we've gone to since we were 15. So being accepting that we're already have our people that are helping us out. The main thing for a college golf coach is just management, setting up the right tournaments, really big tournaments that you can get in, that the team can be put on the map a little bit, having a solid course to practice at. If that's when we're St. John's is in Queens, so we would drive to some of the nicest courses on Long Island, 20-25 minute drives. And I've played pretty much everywhere, and my coaches did a great job of that, having us have the access that we needed to get better. And
what do you think you're cool when you think of your college 5 years?
Yeah.
What is your biggest memory?
Biggest memory. That's a good one.
I'm sure there's
it would probably be the tournament that I won in college, because there was a pretty big backstory to that, and I was super determined to win that tournament, and I was the only one who shot under par, and it was probably my most special moment from college for sure.
And what do you think was the biggest struggle in college?
Biggest struggle?
personally or
say
team or
I would
whatever?
say the not for my whole entire life before going to college, I was on my own schedule. I was practicing when I wanted, not
Mm.
when a team has to. So for example, when we would go, oh, today we're playing, we're not practicing. That was tough because there were days I didn't want to play and I wanted to go work on my game because
Mm.
I needed to. We had a tournament coming up, and that was the most frustrating thing. And that got much better towards the end of my time at St. John's, and I had the opportunity to practice or play pretty much whenever I wanted. So that kind of switched, but that was definitely the biggest struggle for a while, and just honestly balancing your time was, and I've gotten so good at that. And I thank St. John's for everything. It was, I couldn't imagine going anywhere else, but they really bred me to be who I am now, especially down here. I'm managing my time just as much. I'm caddying, then I can go to practice. I need to know what I'm practicing. I can't waste any time because I don't have the hours that some of these other guys have. Could be, they're out there, they have 8 to 10 hours a day to figure out what they got to do. But, I got to cut that in half because I'm caddying. So I have to be super disciplined when I get there and know this is what I have to do to get better today. And that's kind of baby steps. But that
What
was,
makes you in college, like you being captain for 3 years,
yep.
which I think is that's rarity,
Yeah.
and so there has to be a quality in you that people see. So,
Mhm.
what do you think makes you a good leader?
I
Why are you chosen?
I feel like I'm very understanding and open to either side of things. Like I'll tell you right now, there was, I had one of my old teammates, they're still on the team. They called me for advice the other day, and I was on the phone with them for an hour. And me and my other captain, Jack Simon, we were on the phone with them for a while, just, you know, getting telling them what we believed was, the right decision for them with what they were dealing with. And, that I feel like just the transparency when I was there, like I would see both sides of things. If two kids on the team were having trouble, like with each other or something as small as that, or working with, you know, classes that they had to take. Like I was the older kid on the team, so I knew, this is a good class for you to take because you're going to have more time on your hands. If you need any help, like just very helping to everyone. And I think that helps my leadership a lot. Um, Trying to help people as much as I possibly can, and I almost kind of forget about myself sometimes, but
Common as a leader,
it is a good
but that's
quality to have. So
but no. So even like, first of all, we need more people like you.
yeah,
Um, we do.
yeah,
I mean,
the whole
you
world
you
needs to be like that.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
More like giving, open, see both
Hmm.
sides. But when you think of now, you're out of St. John's, you're on your own. Do you What do you miss about that? It's a culture, a
Hmm.
community you led. So
Yep.
like, how are you managing not having that?
It's really hard. I say it to my old teammates. I say it to my teammates that are also down here, um, playing professionally or caddying or doing whatever. And I say it every day. I miss it every single day. Just that, being on your own at college, figuring everything out on your own and with the team. We hung out every single night. Like I look at all those kids that I played with as brothers, lived in a house together, did everything together. And now it's really hard. I live with some people down here and we're super close, and it's giving me a little bit of that vibe, but nothing will be what it
It
was.
is a
It
hard
was
thing.
just
Golf is a hard animal.
it is, and it's like, it's just a relief. You'd come home from practice. We'd be at practice from 1 o'clock till 6, 7 o'clock at night because we'd play a round of golf. We'd come home, hit some traffic. We'd all come home, and it's like, all right, who's cooking dinner? Who's doing this? And like, I just miss having people around from 7 to 10 o'clock at night every night. Like just you know if we were playing a video game or watching the Masters or whatever it was. We were always doing something. Someone was always around to hang out with you, and it was just like, there's never a slight moment that I felt loneliness, and it was amazing. Like, it really was.
Cool. Yeah, no, golf is a different sport.
It is.
It's like probably a little bit. I coach a girl that plays doubles in tennis, and she's 40th in the world, and she struggles, and she doesn't have a consistent partner, and not struggles in a bad way. It's just like when you're at that level that you're grinding, it's like you miss that relatability.
You do. And, it was like every moment I had someone to talk to. If say I had a bad round, like I could go through my round with them and just kind of air the room, and just like, now it's, my parents are there for me. I talk to them about pretty much everything when it comes to golf, and because you need somebody to let it out or to do whatever. So it's tough, like being on your own. It's different, but I do the best I can to keep the social aspect of, I have a couple caddy buddies now, or a bunch of friends down here, old St. John's alumni that are down here, and it's great to just go out and grab dinner with them, or catch up over the phone if it is with my buddies back home. Like, just always keeping those relationships, because that's really what's important.
It is. Let's talk about your golf. So you're on your own. You obviously work really hard at practice and what you want. What are you working on with your swing, or is it short game, or what's your focus right now?
So it's when I go, so say right now I'm kind of caddying like 6 days a week. So it's really, really tough to manage my time when I go to the range or go to practice. So I really try and keep it simple, and it's, I'm normally going to have about 4 hours. So it's going to be 1 hour on the range, 1 hour putting, an hour short game, and then that last hour is for whatever I need to clean up on. Something I want to go back to. Maybe I want to go putt a little more. Maybe I want to go work on something in the swing. But swing-wise, just really working on my lower body a lot. That's always been something that I've always wanted to really work on, and this winter has been a lot of, feeling pressure in my feet. The best guys on tour, I mean, you look at Scotty Scheffler, he might look all wonky when he's hitting the ball with his feet, but naturally the positions he's getting in, where the weight is in his swing, it's the best. I mean, it's one of the best, and all the guys do it. They all use the ground to their advantage. So I've been really working on getting that lower body a little bit more into my swing. And then just little things like maybe shallowing the club this week because they got a little steep, and it goes back and forth.
So like I think the best when I used to play, and I think there's practice when you're off playing, and then there's practice like before a tournament.
Correct.
So like, how do you, like, anybody listening that wants a better practice, even if they're amateur, like how do you plan out your practice? And like you're saying, yes, I have an hour for putting, hour this, but like what makes you what are you practicing in those hours and stuff
there's
like
that? I do a lot of competition against myself, because it's really easy to get into the habit when you go to the range and you just start beating balls. You're not getting anything done. If you just are getting up there and just whacking the ball, okay, I'm going to hit my sand wedge, and I'm going to hit my 8-iron, I'm going to hit my driver. But if you're just hitting balls, nothing's going to really get better. Because when you're on the golf course, it's completely different. So, a game, I give you a game from one range game, one chipping game, one putting game. On the range, I'll look at pins or whatever out on the range, and let's start with a wedge. So if I had a sand wedge in my hand, like, I'll play a game against myself. If I hit a shot, say I hit it 50 yards, the next one I'm going to hit it a little further, try and get as close to that ball as I can. And if it gets past that one, then I'll go again, go past that one. Instead, if I miss one short, then I'm going to have to restart.
On feel.
Feel.
Yeah.
A lot of feel. There's a lot of feel. So, like, you know, a great thing to do, too, would be, like, you go to the range and you hit your 7-iron, say, 150. Try and hit it 120 and slow everything down. Just slow everything down. The best players ever all did that. Tiger Woods is the perfect example. That guy can hit a pitching wedge 50 yards and take a full swing and hit it a foot from the flag. He can take a 7-iron and hit it 120 yards and hit it to the flag. Like, it's all feel. And, like, I feel like everyone, too, like, there's a spot where you can get very technical, almost too technical, and everybody's different. Everybody's body moves differently, and you need to trust yourself, I feel like, a little bit more on what works for you and what doesn't. And other small things would be putting. Like, I play a really fun game. It's called 3 over 3 under. And you take one ball, you go around a hole. Could be, you know, you're going to hit, every putt you hit is going to be around 10 to 20 feet. And say you make it, that's a birdie. So you'd go to 1 under. Start it even. So you'd go to 1 under. Say I leave it short of the hole, I have to draw my putter back twice. And now that's like a 6-footer, and I have to make that for a par. If I miss, I have to draw it back again. And it's just like, you know, playing against yourself, trying to beat the score. Or you could do a wheel drill, 3-footer, 4-footer, 5-footer, and put it on each quadrant of the hole. So like 4 tees around, 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet. And you have to hit every 3-footer. And then you have to hit every 4-footer and every 5-footer. If you miss one, you go back to the beginning and you restart.
Do you track, ever take notes and say, okay, today I made this many 3-footers, and then try and beat that the next day or something like that?
It could be as simple as a dead straight 10-foot putt. And you sit there and you putt 100 balls and you stick to your whatever, you know, tempo you have or whatever. And, you know, say today I made 95. That's pretty good. I'd be pretty happy with that. The next day it might be 75. And you're just trying to get to that 100 number. And you got to make it hard on yourself. The harder you make it, I feel like the better you get, because it's just like if you were to aim, say you were to aim at a huge fairway, there's water right, sand left, and you're to aim at this huge fairway. That's what you're looking to hit. You know, you got to minimize it, make it harder on yourself. Oh, I see a tree out in the middle of the fairway. I'm going to try and hit it, you know, right at the tree. And that's where I want to hit it. If I don't hit it at the tree, it wasn't the best shot. But, you know, minimizing things like that really helps.
When you think of someone you like to watch, emulate, or, you know, study, who is that player?
Without a doubt, Tiger Woods. I could watch any tournament he's played in, any, you know, practice range sessions that he's had that you could find on YouTube. Just his knowledge. I mean, I grew up kind of watching him towards his end of his career, and there's just nothing like it. I mean, he's the idol for so many people on the way he plays the game, his focus, the way he's like, you can see it in his eyes when he's playing. It's insane. You know, I watch him all the time and just kind of try and pick things here and there that, you know, he does that might work for me. And
he was
the biggest.
He was the one who probably made me continue on, because I was at a Butch Harmon school in 2000. I want to age 2000 or 2001, and he happened to be there. And Claude Harmon III called me over. And I'm watching, and you get like mesmerized by watching. And he's sitting there, and he goes, I want to see you hit one. And his patch is like perfect. And here I was with the thank God a 9-iron. But I remember them saying like that when he started working with Butch, they worked with one thought for a whole year using a tee with a 9-iron. And that's Tiger Woods. And I'm like, You know, how many people are thinking different
Yeah,
thoughts.
different thoughts.
It's
Crazy.
craziness.
Yes,
But
it's
to
insane.
watch his practice and how he approached the game, like
Mhm.
just in that little moment I was around him, but I had seen him often. It is
When I see
like no other.
when I see him walking down a fairway or in a tournament, or I mean, you could go back to when he won the tour championship, and he's walking down the fairway and he has about 10,000 people walking behind him, but his demeanor, everything was the same. He just was doing the same thing. He's like, in a sense of the mental part of golf, he's a god.
Mm.
He's a god. Like, it's impressive.
What do you think in the mental part of the game you need to improve? Or
I'm
you're
I'm
working on, I
too
wouldn't say that.
I've so in all these tournaments down here, playing in all these professional tournaments, I've learned so much more than I could have imagined compared to college golf. It's just a different. It's just, you're playing against, best of the best everywhere, and they all come to South Florida to play. And you pick up on things even when you're playing with other people. But my biggest thing, I've gotten really good under pressure. Like, if I have to hit a shot, I'm not getting, my head is not getting in my way. I'm committing to my swing, and the result's going to be the result. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm just going to do everything I know how to do, trust it, and wherever it ends up, it ends up. There's nothing I can do at that point. But I would say the biggest struggle for me mentally, I'm just way too hard on myself. I will beat myself down, and it's so interesting because I'm probably the most optimistic, positive person when I caddy, when I'm in any other realm, any other category besides me playing golf.
Is it during the round or after?
During and after, a lot during. Like, I'll catch myself saying some mean words to myself all the time, and it's like, I know that that's what needs to change. And yesterday I had a tournament pre-qualifier for a tour event in Dominican Republic, and I didn't make the cut. It was a wild front nine. I only had one par, but I only shot one over on the front. So I took a couple bad swings, but I didn't say one mean thing to myself. I just kind of flicked it off my shoulder and said, all right, like, let's just hit a good one on the next shot. And I have to say, it was a much more peaceful 18 holes. I ended up shooting 3 over. I missed it by 6 shots. Normally I'd be heated, upset, whatever, like I'm not good enough. But it's all a process, and that's what I'm starting to learn. It's every little experience is going to take you to the next level. And just, saying nice things to myself for once out there. I caught myself smiling more. I was back, like, enjoying the dream. Like, even if, say I don't end up making it on the PGA Tour, even though I have full belief that I will, enjoying it while you're doing it. And this is something I've looked forward to my whole entire life. Like, there's no reason for a second to be, down in the dumps or being mad at myself when, I have the talent to even have the opportunity to do this is tremendous. Some people were not allowed to do that. They didn't have a sport or theater or anything, that skill that they wanted to take to the next level, and I did. And I just have to be a little bit more appreciative of all of it, and I have been. And every day I wake up and I'm super happy. So I'm enjoying the ride, and I can't wait to see what happens.
What's your biggest dream?
Oof. Well, I'll tell you what, the Masters is coming up. I would love to play in a Masters. That would be a huge dream of mine, since I was winning a green jacket would be the
We're
biggest.
Putting it out there. We're putting it out there.
But
he will be in the Masters
one day. Yep.
I love it. I love it.
That would be, I don't know. It's just, I've been watching that event since I was a kid, and just everything about that tournament. There's nothing like it, and that's
Love
the
that.
slogan. There is nothing.
I love
like
that
it.
declaration, Tyler. I love it. part of Live Your June and like living your essence. And I love listening to you at 22 and being so mature at your age and stating it out loud.
24, but
24, sorry.
I'm
I think
getting
you're,
old.
well, it's close. Anyway, and then I want to know, like, why do you love the game? What do you love about it?
It's just the challenge. I don't know. It's so hard. Like, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's golf. Like, you could play an amazing 18 holes and still shoot over par. Like, depending on the bounce you get, on the weather that comes in. There's just so many factors, and just watching these guys like play my whole entire life on the tour. I've always watched golf, and like a perfect example would be the Masters. These guys walking down the fairway playing golf for a living. It's like that's what I want to do. That is the dream. Like, it's just there's no sport like it. And I'll tell you right now, the people I've met along the way in golf, it's such a small world. The golf world is such a small world. You could know somebody from overseas that someone else knows just because they've played golf with them or seen them at a golf tournament or something like that. And it's just everything about it. Like, there's not a bad thing. I love teaching people as well, like helping people get better. Like, I love seeing improvement. There's just so many things about it that I love. I've carried bags caddying since I was 15 years old. The amount of people I've met through that is, I couldn't even put a number to it. And so many people that are supporting me and helping me through this battle and this steep hill I'm trying to climb. And I'm so appreciative to everyone that's, believed in me and wants me to succeed. And it's amazing. It really is.
I love that. Golf has changed my life.
Yeah,
I mean, I
it'll
didn't do it as
change
long as you,
so
but
many people, and you don't have to play professionally for it to change your life.
No.
There's a lot of small and big, values you can learn through golf. Like, a perfect example would be getting mad on the golf course, how a different emotion comes out of you. And, it teaches you to be more patient, more like take a deep breath and just like relax and things like that. Like, it's just, there's everything about it. It's so unbelievable.
So awesome. Biggest influencer in your life?
That one's pretty easy for me. My grandfather, Charlie Fort. I mean, since I was a kid, he's been my best friend. He's been there through everything. He'll come watch every tournament. Same with my parents. Anyone in my family. They're all
in. That's for sure.
all my idols, to be honest with you. But my grandfather, he played 3 sports in college: basketball, football, and baseball. And his stories, I've always looked up to him. I know I played golf with him 1,000 times, and I hope it never ends. Just a wise man that knows, he's my idol. And that goes for, he's so friendly to everyone. He wants to help as many people as he possibly can. And, all the relationships that he's made, everyone knows Charlie Fort. Everybody does. And it's just, that's his personality. And, even outside of golf, like he's just everything about him. Like, that's what I want to be when I grow up. And that's what I'm pushing towards.
Very cool. I agree with the Uncle Charlie. Last thing, we talk about Live Your June, and we're all about like leaving your imprint, living your essence, and taking in what your grandfather has given you and all the people that have made their mark on you. And now you're like living into this human that is leaving a mark on other people, whether caddying or in people that are inspired by you. What's the mark that you want to leave right in this moment of being 24?
In this moment, with the sport of golf, pretty much just anything.
Whatever you choose.
My mark that I want to leave. I hope one day that I could, get to that level that I'm playing in PGA Tour events, and I can have, people look up to me and want to fight for the same reasons. I know so many kids from, back home, Huntington Crescent Club, Hope Sound that I play at here. Kids that are around 10, 12, 14 years old, and they look up to me. I've been there. I've been in their shoes before. When I was a kid, I looked up to two or three, guys that were playing at the club, and I just want to be someone that people can look up to and follow and emulate, because I've taken a bunch of kids out on the course to play, and me saying, hey, you want to go play quick 9 holes, like that's gonna make their day. And I know it is, because I was in the same position, and when I had that happen to me, that was another whole reason for why I loved golf. Like, I was welcomed in, and I had somebody to look up to all the time. And if I can make it or not, that'll always be what I shoot for. There's so many young kids that look up to me at the club or whatever, and I know they do, because I did the same thing when I was a kid. And if I could just give them as much information on, and help them, reach their dreams, if that's in golf or not, that's really the mark right there.
I love that. I love that. And I have to say, like, as someone who's watched you from little Tyler
Yeah.
playing his little Crescent Club things, to watch you grow, and it's not just about how you play, because you're amazing. Although I haven't played with you in a while, but I just watch you on your Instagram posts, and
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, this kid can hit it. But also, like, just who you are as a human,
Yeah.
and a man in this world. Like,
Yeah.
you shine your light on so many.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't hang out with you that much, but I know how valued you are. And obviously, it says a lot that you've been captain for 3 years, and
It's great.
everybody supports you in the way they support you, and you should be very proud of yourself. And we're backing
Proud
you.
and super, super appreciative of
Yeah.
everyone. It's
Yeah.
it's
It's so cool to
amazing. It's
watch. Like,
great.
I'm a passion. I love people going after their dreams.
Yeah,
I love it.
even, my Instagram account now is all golf, Tyler Gerbavsits Golf. You can
Oh, that's
follow
right.
it.
Yes.
And
Your
I
company.
post, swing videos, updates on how I'm playing, things like that. Not everybody does it. I don't really care. Some people probably have the opinion that, like, why is this guy posting all this stuff? It's so annoying. Well, this is my
It's
dream.
your life.
This is my dream, my life, and I love doing that stuff. I'm a pretty good editor at things too. Like, I really enjoy being able to show what I can do, and just kind of, have people be a little more familiar with Tyler Gerbavsits. So, what he's doing every
And
day.
your work ethic. Like, I think it shows you, to me, when I watch you. Yes, it's great that you have a good swing, but to me, like, you're so busting your tail to go after the thing you love.
Yeah,
And it's so
and I think
beautiful.
that's a lesson for everyone in anything you want to do. I've heard it from so many people. Like, you gotta work your butt off for what you want. You have to, especially in the world today. And it's, look at the big picture, and then break it down into a bunch of, little small goals that you want to complete to reach that goal, and just work as hard as you possibly can. And when you look back in 30 years, make it or not in what you want to do, at least you can say you gave it everything. Because if I can't say that, then I'm not going to be probably too happy in 30 years. So
Love it. Love it. Tyler, we'll put anybody who wants to support Tyler, check him out. Follow him on Instagram. We're going to have all your information
Great.
below, your contact for your LLC. Tell me the name of it's Tyler
TCG Believe is the name of the LLC that I started, which is just kind of my own business for me to get people to, try and support me, invest in me. And there's a good rundown that I have there. that you can get through. If you DM me on Instagram, you want to know a little bit more, I have all that information. But
And if you want to play, if you're in the Florida area,
without a doubt,
I mean, he's
Without a
welcome to
doubt.
bring on a game, bring your money.
100%.
Well, thanks, Tyler. I love it. I love it. And we've got you, and we believe in you, and I can't wait to see where you go.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome.
It's great.